Hey guys, thank you for being here with me today. A couple of things I want to talk to you about um, this morning while I have my morning coffee, sitting outside, relaxing, getting my thoughts together. Um, this morning I woke up and I realized that the ideal of good debt and bad debt goes a lot further than we like to detail, and it goes a lot further than what we all like to think about it. Like how bad everyone knows, everyone let's say this. If you think back on the idea that everyone that told you to you need to save, you need to make money and you need to save. If you think back, every person that told you that is probably older than the age of 45, 50-ish. Let's say 50 and up. And I believe that the reason why they said that is because during that time, realities were different. Or what they were ingrained in understanding is different from reality today. Now, if you're a millennial, ages 35 and down, or 36 or 7 and down, you understand the worst thing you can do for your money is put it in the bank and try to save, because that's not a reality. Let me go into detail and explain. For the 50 and up individual that tell you to put your money in the bank, go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, get a house, and pay taxes. That is their formula. Like that's the formula for 50 and up, right? And pay down debt. Pay down debt is also in there, right? Well, that formula was based in the ideal of before fractional reserve banking. And I'll go into detail about what fractional reserve banking is. It's very important to know this, because I think you'll have a completely different perspective once I try to build on this. So, based in the old formula, I'm just calling them 50 and up, that's the formula. When you're 50 and up, there was a time in the United States that when you put your money in the bank would almost give you a yield or a return on your money that was comparable to invest in your money. Okay, what do I mean by that? There was a time in America when you put your money in the bank would pay you upwards of 8%, 10%, and in some cases all the way upwards of 12% on your investment, or your money, on your deposited money. So what am I saying? Well, on $100,000, 10% of $100,000, that's $10,000. On $100, it was $10. That's about what an investment yield today. So it was the same thing as like investing your money. That's the reason why you could put your money in the bank and just let it sit there and it would grow. That was back in the 70s. sometime in the 71, 74 is when they changed it. I don't know. You know, I don't remember. 83, something like that. 70, 71, 74, fractional reserve, something like that. Now, fast forward today, right? And basically, the reason why they paid you that money is because they were investing your money that you deposited. Which means they took every dollar that you deposited, and this is coming into the fractional reserve conversation, and they will lend out that money plus multiples. So today it's somewhere around 1 to 10. So for every dollar, they can lend $10, right? They used to pay you 10% to do that with your money. Now they pay you less than 1%. So every millennial know that depositing your money in the bank doesn't make sense. You make less than 1% on your money, and if you're 50 and up, you're still doing it, you know, because you think, well, it's just the only reality that you know because you was bred into knowing that, you know, and millennials don't have that avenue to even use because we only getting paid 1% on money. It just doesn't make sense. Or less than 1% of money. I haven't seen a bank that pays more than 1.5%, you know, in the last few years. So that's what happened with fractional reserve banking. Now, who benefits from fractional reserve banking, and how does this make sense with good debt and bad debt? So mathematically, if you use that 70s model formula today, 2019, today, that model formula, go to school, get a job, pay off debt, save your money in the bank, and buy a home and pay your taxes, you'll be impoverished. You will be in poverty. You will, and the reason being is because you're taxed so heavily. You're taxed so heavily that the formula, the structure have outliers built in that you don't even understand. Like, you don't even mathematically take it into your account of your income. Like, a lot of people don't know, when you get approved for a house, you get approved on gross amounts, not net amounts. Your net income on a W-2 wage job is significantly less than your gross income. Then you take into account that you're paying insurance. And I'm talking about health insurance. What is health insurance? Probably $200 on the low end every paycheck. $200, $250 for yourself. That's $200 more for a spouse. And that's probably $150 to $200 for every kid that you have. Do your math, that's $600 a paycheck. $800 a paycheck. I don't care how much you make. You can make $10,000 a month. It doesn't matter. So you take that net amount and you're taxed on, or not net amount, you take that gross amount, you're taxed on insurance. Okay, that's just your health insurance. Say, for example, you have a home. You got to pay taxes on that home. If your home is in any kind of community that's worth its grain and salt, you're paying for, let's see, the tax breakdown in a neighborhood is the municipalities of the neighborhood. What do I mean by that? School district, fire department, police department, utilities that is offered in that vicinity. Any kind of new road construction or builds, you know, anything that has to do with that infrastructure, you're paying that in your taxes. So say, for example, you pay $7,000 a year in taxes. I don't care where your equation fluctuate. These are just the norms of today. Average home today is $250,000. That's the medium home sale. And I'm in Texas. Right? So $7,000 a year for that. Most people don't know they're paying it because it's escrowed in their mortgage, their note. So you pay $1,500, $2,000 a month in a note. Most of it is interest and most of it is insurance. You don't even know you're paying less than $100 in principal Principal is the actual thing that makes the property amount goes down. But that's another conversation. We'll touch base on that at another point. But we're going to stick to on this thing that keeps you in poverty. So we're talking about good debt, bad debt, and insurances and taxes. Insurance and taxes are leveraged now. The big guys up top know this. That stuff is leveraged now to where if you make a W-2 wage job, you pay so much insurance and taxes in your life on a day-to-day basis that it is very, very, very difficult to get outside the rat race. And we can discuss. Let's go into talking about, so you have property taxes that you pay every year. Then you have taxes on your food. 0.825 is the last time I checked. I don't know. That's last. I've known that since 2017, 16, so I don't know if it's changed or not. Then you get taxed on your food. Everything you eat, you're taxed on it, right? Everything that goes in your mouth, you're taxed on. Somebody pays that tax. Then you're taxed on every piece of furniture, everything that you buy. Heavily taxed on vehicles. You know, you go buy a new truck, a large sum of that is taxes. That down payment, you're gonna pay that TT&L, tax, title, and licenses for your license plate and stuff and all that mess. It's tax. Okay. Let's say you escape the tax burden. Let's talk about insurances. You gotta have insurance on every vehicle that you drive, your wife drive, your kid drive. You gotta have insurance on your vehicles. That's several hundred more dollars. Every time you had a kid, that's a couple $100. That's vehicle insurance. Let's talk about homeowners insurance. Right? Depending on where you live, your homeowner insurance is going to differ. If you live in a tornado, if you live in what's called Tornado Alley, good luck. My good friends down in Houston, you know, it was very, very, very heartbreaking to find out that there's two different kinds of flood insurances, which is not marketed as flood insurance for the rain when it comes from the sky, and if it rains into a property and flood it, and there's a flood insurance for if the water comes from the ground. Two different kinds. And if you don't have both of them, there's your liability. So if you live in a storm-ridden area, they want you to carry hazard insurance. That's for housing. So you have health, housing, vehicle, kid. You got to have insurance on all of this stuff. Property, like fixtures, physical property inside the house, you got to have insurance for that stuff. How can you realistically pay on all of this stuff when the bank is only paying you 1% to leverage out your money? The bank is leveraging your money 10 times. Don't put your money in the bank. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Stay away from bad debt. Anything that you're paying out of your pocket, stay away from the bad debt. Buy assets. Buy assets. I would argue that unless you have a manufacturing company or if you have something like that going on, I would argue that most people on YouTube that make videos about being a manufacturing company or some kind of YouTube income or some kind of internet-based income, I would argue that the most people on YouTube that are making an income, they're doing it in passive income. They do it in some passive income way, and a large part of it is done within real estate assets. It's just it's a formula that allows you to step away from the day-to-day grind, and you can gain control of your time again. I'm always advocating real estate. From what I've been able to see and understand, you know, the mentors that I have in my life, the mentors that I meet, whether it's banking, whether it's stock traders, I've worked on the floor. I've worked for three of the largest investment firms in the U.S. and all of their formulas are the same. Like all their formulas are the same. I don't. Unless you find a way, the rich, the wealthy in this country do not pay taxes. And there's a reason why they don't pay taxes. And the simple reason is because I hear a lot of people say, well, Donald Trump don't pay taxes, or Robert Kiyosaki don't pay taxes, or who's that other guy that was running for president? Mitch, what's that guy name? Shit, slipped my mind. Ross Perot don't pay taxes. Well, there's a reason why these guys don't pay taxes. In North Fort Worth, Ross Perot owns and have owned for what is known now as, and I'm not going to give the cities, but this man owned damn near cities with an S on the end, sizes of land that were later bought by malls, schools, fire departments. If this guy had to pay, here's the simple logic. If he had to pay taxes on all the shit that he owns, trust me, he wouldn't be as wealthy as he is today. If there wasn't a loophole, where he can take all of that income and shove it into that, take that round peg and shove it into that round hole, he would not be as wealthy as he is today. I don't give a damn who it is. If Donald Trump had to pay heavy taxes on everything that he owned, he would not be as wealthy as he is today. Mitt Romney is the other one. Mitt Romney is another one. Vice versa, for us little guys on the bottom, they like to make us take a round peg and try to shove it into a square hole with a whole bunch of shit left out on the sides. We pay taxes, we pay insurance. Those guys are, did you know that a lot of those guys are self-insured? Self-insured. Now I'm going to get comments saying, oh, there's no way that Donald Trump is self-insured on blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's true too. There's two parallels going side by side. A lot of them are self-insured, some of them are not. The logic is still the same. It's true. They're not paying what we're paying in per income, per our percentage of income. They're not paying 55% of our income for housing, which is what the average person pays for housing. I don't care if you own a home or rent one. They're not paying that kind of money, you know? The game is rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. You got to learn the laws and rules of the rich. The laws and rules of the rich. Just a rant.